going to quickly show our video. It's 2 minutes. Make sure you put your notes in your binder to get credit for it. Thank you. Let's see.
Question.
Okay, let's go to this. Make sure you copy this in your notes to get credit.
And we also have a bunch of I guess we could call them 1 kilogram masses. These are all each a 1 kilogram mass. And my question to you is, what could we do to either side of this scale in order to figure out what the mystery mass is? Or maybe we can't figure out at all. Is there something that we can do, either removing or adding these things, so that we can figure out what this mystery mass is? And I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about that. Well, to figure out what this mystery mass is, we essentially just want this on one side of this scale. But that by itself isn't enough. We could just remove these 3, but that won't do the job, because if we just remove these 3, then the left-hand side of the scale is clearly going to have less mass, and it's going to go up, and the right side is going to go down. And that's not going to give us much information. It's just going to tell us that this blue thing has a lower mass than what's over here. So just removing this won't help us much. It won't let us know that this is equal to that. What we've got to do if we want to keep the scale balanced is we've got to remove the same amount of mass from both sides of the scale. So if we want to remove 3 things here, so let me try my best to remove 3 things here. If we want to remove 3, let me do it like this. I'll just erase it. So if we want to remove 3 things there, if we did this by itself, just removed these 3 things, then the 2 sides would not have an equal mass anymore. This side over here would have a lower mass. So we've got to remove 3 from both sides. So if we really want to make sure that our scale is balanced, we've got to remove 3 from both sides. And so if we started off with the scales balanced, and then we remove 3 from both sides, the scale will still be balanced. And then when we do that, we have a clear idea of what the mass of this object actually is. Now, when we remove 3 from both sides, the scale will still be balanced. And we know that this mass is equal to whatever's left over here. It's equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if we're assuming they're kilograms, we'll know that the question mark mass, the question mark is equal to 7 kilograms. That this right over here is a 7 kilogram mass.
Okay. Azar, will you help me pass out these papers, please? We're going to do an example of adding. Just a simple instruction of adding. This is an example of number 1. I'm still dealing with my scale, but I'm going to start with addition. So if I have m plus 12 equals 10, in my mind, what is the first thing that I have to think of in order to get ready to solve this problem? Because I have what? Okay, I'm gonna subtract on both sides. Very good. So I'm gonna subtract. What am I gonna subtract? Okay, because I need what by itself? Okay, very good. And m is our what? So it's an unknown variable. So if I have plus 12 and minus 12, what does that leave me? It cancels out. It leaves you just what? M equals what? What is 10 minus 12? It's negative 2. Very good. So I have solved for my variable, but I want to check this. So I always love to check, come back and check, because see, sometimes we mess up, negative. So what is negative 2 plus 12?
10.
Right, because this is on the other side of the number line. Because what we're going to do is we're going to end up taking these things and putting it on the number line. And that's our future standard. But right now we're just going to solve. Okay, and we're going to do one more, which is a fraction, and you can do number 1 through 8. And this is our fraction. And it says 2/3 x equals 10. What type problem is this? I don't know. I don't want to. It's multiplication, because you always have a number with a variable. Do we know what this variable is? We're trying to what? Solve for the variable. Very good. But this 2/3 is a what type problem? It's a division problem, which is a fraction. So now I need to know how I would do this fraction problem. So the first thing I would do is, if it's a division problem, it's a fraction problem. So what is the opposite of division? Multiplication. Very good. So, do you remember keep, change, and flip? So I'm going to say 3 over 2. I'm going to multiply that. And I'm going to multiply over here 3 over 2. This cancels out, so I'm left with x. So I'm going to say 10 times 3 is 30. Divided into 2 is going to give us what?
15.
All right, very good. Well, let's check. Let's see if this is going to be okay. We know that this is the answer. But when in doubt, we can always check. So I'm going to say 2/3 times 15. So what is 15 times 2? Divided into 3. That answer is correct. Very good. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead and start working your very first number 2 and number 6 on your paper. And I'm going to come around and check each person's paper. get your binder. Mhm. Okay. The problem is this. Okay, what you gonna do to it? So what we got to do with this multiplication? What we got to do to it? Mm-hmm. So what you want to divide? Mm-hmm. Negative 7. Okay, you just got in. This is what we're doing. Okay, everyone has done an excellent job, and you seem to understand. So now I want you to give me an exit ticket. The first thing I want you to do is solve for this problem. Then I want you to tell me what did you learn today, and then I want you to let me know how confident do you feel working these problems out. And I'm gonna come by and initial all your assignments. The problems that you have worked today. Okay, you finished? Okay. You can okay, very good. Now I need to be all your questions seem to be correct. The last problem, which would be a map test. That would be on your map test. The last problem, your exit ticket, is a map test question equation. Okay, very good. That's what you will see on your end of the year test. So if you ever come across the equation, and just remember, I've stamped it, we're going to have to explain each step in solving the simple equation. So we already determined that the problem, the term was a multiplication. We added, and we have our whole expression. So these are numbers in the previous step, starting with the assumption of the original. That's what we did, the original solution. So we will do distributive property next, equations, expressions, and we went over variables and our coefficients. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to complete that. And we're going to get ready to close.